Good morning, my friends. This is Marta from Drop of Sunshine and welcome at my studio. Today I have a little bit of a free time because I've just finished creating my project for my design team and I've cleaned up my studio, so I just thought I'll have a wee play with this gorgeous dice which I recently purchased from the craft stash, and I still have got 100 ideas for different cards. I've got this another absolutely amazing crafter, Christina Griffith's stamp set, which was included in the magazine, and I'm also having this V&A stamp set, which is a part of the Inspire to Create kit, and I've purchased this long time ago and I still have no chance to play with it. Can you imagine that? This is absolutely gorgeous stamps and I still haven't used them. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how it happened. I'm having some distress ink and those Spectrum Noir liquid sparkle ink, some embossing powders, I've got the Nouveau embellishment mousse and couple dice. I wanted to have this very narrow rim for the circle, so I just I was rumbled through my stash trying to find two perfect one, and one of the dice was from Spellbinder and the other one was from the press cut. And I also have this appendix die which I received as a present, so I'm not quite sure where is it coming from. Anyway, I've created myself a card base which I was basing upon the largest die from the Olga Direktorenko range, and I've just measured the die itself, and I just cut myself a frame which was 1/4 of the inch larger than the biggest die in the set, so that way I was managed to create myself a sideway open card. However, later on I will turn it to be actually top folded card. I'm using this smooshing technique and I'm just applying the two of the distress inks I have, and the colors I have is, let me just check, it's a worn lipstick and the fossilite amber, that's two yellow and the pinkish color one, and I'm just adding them slightly to the empty foil packaging. I like them. I think I prefer working with the packaging rather than the pocket, like those file expander pockets, because the plastic is a little bit more flimsy and the thinner plastic foil is the better results I think you're receiving, but it's just my personal preference. I'm using also a little bit of the kitchen sponge just to dab a little bit here and there because I want to get rid of those harsh lines, just in case I did it in the past few times. Happened to me that when I press the ink pad directly to the foil, and even though I spray it, I still manage to get that kind of square looking line, so I don't want it. I want to have this lovely watercolor look, so that's why I'm just smooshing it a little bit with the help of the kitchen sponge. I prepare myself 3 pieces of the cardstock. One of them is just a plain white cardstock and the other 2 are in the linen finish effect, because once I have all the inks and I will have mess on my desk, I like to do that, even though I'm gonna be using only one piece of this paper I am creating just now, and the other 2 I will leave them for later on for other cards. And this is what I like to do. If I get messy, if my fingers get messy in my desk, I rather prefer to create 2-3 backgrounds straight away, because that way I do have a more to use later on. And many times I actually caught myself on that. If I will prepare only one page of the colorful background and I'm creating such a nice lovely card, and then I would like to finish the card on the inside, I am missing a little piece of the background paper just to use for the inside part of the card to embellish it exactly the same way as a top front. And I caught myself on this, that once I'm getting all my products back again on a desk and I'm trying to even recreate the step by step, I am never achieving exactly the same look as I'm doing them on the same go. So that's why I like to be prepared and then create more than one of the backgrounds. I'm having this Olga die which is absolutely fantastic for creating the slimline cards, but today I'm gonna be using on the larger card and the die, it's called card builder, and I've bought along with the other dice on a fantastic offer. And I must tell you this, the craft stash is having a 40% off on the Olga dice pack again. So if you are planning to buy some Olga dice, there's definitely worth to check. There is a 40% on a selected dice, and I think the offer is valid till the end of the week. I believe it's till Sunday, so there's still quite a few days for checking it out. And back to my card, I am placing all the dice on this one piece of the background paper I create earlier on, and I'm trying to arrange them that way I will be using as less paper as possible, because I want to stamp some flowers on the leftover piece later on. So because I'm gonna be using this one piece as the background paper, I will have a white mat all over it. So that's why I am able to cut everything in the middle of the frame, and no one will ever notice that there is a missing bits behind the white cardstock once I assemble everything together. And now it's time to create my panel from the embossing folder. I am using this Crafter Companions. This is a 3D lace embossing folder, and I really absolutely love it. The embossing is so rich and it's so deep that it's really looking gorgeous, and the design itself, it's very elegant. So I'm really surprised how deep and lovely this embossing is. Now I am using the same die with this diagonal strips, and I'm cutting it from this linen finish cardstock as well, because I want to do some paper piecing, and I'll be just mix and matching them with this one die I cut from the background piece. So that way I needed to, and I'm also gonna be cutting myself a slightly bigger white piece of a cardstock, just so I could have a nice piece for backing it up, and that way I will provide them a lot more sturdiness to my die cut piece, and it will be just easier to assemble it all together. Initially I was thinking of stamping on those colorful strips, the one which pop out and then leave a white frame. However, because I was just scared that the sentiment I want to stamp on those strips, it's not gonna be as visible from the colored background, so I decided to stamp on the white strips and then leave the frame colorful frame. But that way, because I cut them both and I kept all those little strips, I am having one extra set to do another card as well. So I'll maybe just finish the card later on, and then I'll just add it to oh, I'm sorry, there is some ambulance going, so I'm sorry for the noise. Hopefully it's nothing serious, but must be because they're going urgent. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm gonna be embossing this sentiment says congratulations, and I just want to have this lovely pattern, so I'll be stamping it on those little narrow strips of the paper, and then once I will glue everything together, it will look lovely, like a design paper or something like that. And then on top of the congratulations congratulation sentiment, I am also adding a teeny tiny heart, because I think it's something, you know, an extra additional touch, and it's always good to have for some like wedding or anniversary or some engagement, all those card teams which are like love in team. Then it's always good, at least I think it's always you know, to sneak a little heart here and there, and I just think it's just they complement it nicely. So as you can see, I've decided here I'm gonna be switching from the side open card to the top folder, and the reason why I've decided to change that is just this diagonal strips. When I was stamping the congratulation and I would leave the card to be side open, it was not really good way to read the congratulation, because we're reading from left to right. It was just I think if the pattern would be lying on the other way, this diagonal piece will be just on the other side. That will be easier for reading. So that's why I've decided to switch to the card to be top folded card, and that way this congratulations sentiment is just easier to read. Plus I think I've prefer, honestly, back in my mind is just something that the top open card, they just look more elegant and they present themselves I think better, because if you put them, most of my cards, I think it's something I've started doing because of my mom. Whenever my mom received the card from me, she's always put them on the display on her cabinet, and she already have plenty. And I was like, Mom, you cannot squeeze anymore here. And she was like, no, I find a room. If you make me a card, I'll find a room for it. And before, when I was start doing the cards, I was always doing this side open cards. But I've noticed that if my mom put them on a display, they just kind of bend when they stand, you know, they don't stand straight. So I start creating, I've seen it on Christina Griffin's when she was doing a top folded card, and that was, I don't even know how many years ago I've seen her, she was talking about that as well. And that gave me this little inspiration, and I've started doing it, and ever since I just can't stop. Basically most of my cards, well, I do easel cards. The easel cards are most common type of the cards I'm creating, I think. Those big 8x8 easel cards, but if I'll do another cards, I usually stick for them to be top open. I just think it's just something nice, and once you put them on a shelf, they really stand nicely on its own, and you don't need any type of a special display frame or anything like that. So here you can see I am just gluing this colorful frame to this slightly larger piece of the white cardstock, which will frame this piece nicely, and it just gives me that teeny tiny white border as well, which is really nice. And then I will be doing a paper piecing, putting those white strips in between. However, before I will attach them, I am stamping this congratulation sentiment along with this teeny tiny heart, and I'm just changing the pattern like ever so slightly. Like I've started from stamping the entire word, but then I'm just like doing a half, top half, or the end half on the bottom, like just something, you know, just to give it a little bit variation to my strips, so they're not looking the same, all of them. And oh my gosh, are you seeing what I'm seeing? I've just noticed once I start using my heat tool, I realize I accidentally pour over the embossing powder into my baby powder mixture. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, how could it even happen? I was like, oh, never mind. But thankfully I am lucky enough to have this big jar of the gold embossing powder, and that wasn't the you know, it wasn't entire embossing powder I had. So luckily I was continue with going, and then I was like thinking in my head, oh, what to do, and I must tell you, I already have a little plan. So if you're curious what am I gonna do with this embossing powder and how am I gonna save it, then definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel so you're not gonna miss it, because I already have some plans. I'm not tossing it away, I will use it. So definitely keep subscribing, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when a new video will be released on my channel. So I am continue doing my stamps. It took me a little bit time, and this card, I must tell you, I did quite a lot of the preparation for the card before I was able to assemble it, because there's a lots of elements. They're embossed, they're die cut, but from time to time I do, well, most of my cards is actually a labor of love, I would say, because although I enjoy myself clean and simple cards, however, when I have some time for a crafting, I like to experiment and I like to do those bigger projects, and also check different techniques. I really love to combine different techniques on my card, from like mixed media or things like that, and I love working with the embossing powder. I know it takes a little bit more time, it's extra effort for the for making embossing rather than just stamp it and have it ready to go. However, I do think that if you put that little extra effort to your card, it makes the whole world change. It's just that the card is start appearing as a next level. It's just looking gorgeous. So sometimes I prefer to create less but have it like a bigger projects and things like that. So I don't know, what's your opinion? Let me know how you approach to your card making. Are you prefer doing a smaller, simpler card, or you also like creating those fancy projects that, like, there's a lot of different techniques and styles combined together? Well, I always like, do you know what, it's quite often that I'm waking up super early in the morning before my son, he's still sleeping, so I have this extra free time for creating my projects, or things like if I want to do something additionally. And I sometimes start from thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do a little stamp here and that will be quick and easy stamp, like, a quick and easy card. However, once I start creating, I'm just add on, and then oh, I maybe just add this, or maybe add a little bit of a texture paste, oh, I may add this and that, and this cards just build up instantly. And quite often I'm starting off creating a smaller size card, like A6 or 6 by 6 inches, and then I'm just resizing it to a larger card by adding additional layers. And I just think that, I don't know, for some reason the bigger is better. I don't know. Maybe not, but it's just like quite often it's a case for me. I'm thinking of a smaller card, but then once I start creating and I'm on the go, I'm just like improving and adding more and more. I've got a video in the past, I'll maybe just link it over here, when I was keep telling you how by adding additional layers to the composition you can build up from simple card to more complicated, like some bigger projects. So maybe I'll just link it somewhere here and you could have a look if you're interested to see that video as well. So I'm just gluing, this is just PVA glue. I am squishing a little bit in those little holes, and then I'm just adding the strips in between. So as you can see, by altering the stamping, I've managed to create a quite interesting background piece with this heart and the congratulations sign, and I think it's just a perfect match for the wedding theme card I am creating. So I'm nearly there, there's not a lot left. I'm sorry the video is quite long, but I was doing quite a lot of different things, so I just wanted to show you the entire card making process, what I was doing and how I was preparing it. So I was thinking of stamping using the stamp platform, but then I just like thought it's a nice and bold design on those Christina card making magic letters that I don't really need a stamping tool for that. The stamping block will be quite okay to to use it for this type of stamping. If I would be doing some sort of a sentiment or something which is really delicate, and I would be afraid that it's not gonna give me a perfect impression from the first time, I would probably use the stamping platform. However, because it's a nice bold big letters, I could just use my stamping block, and that will be much easier. I think quicker, definitely. It's time, cutting the time, because I'm just getting to the point when I'm looking at my clock and I was like, oh, my son will be wake up any minute, so I just need to hurry up a little bit. So I am using my little die cutting machine, which is the Spellbinder Sapphire, and I really like it because if I have something little to die cut, I don't have to drag in that big die cutting machine. Plus, it's perfect to craft on the go. And right now I am cutting those little letters from the circle die, and this die is teeny tiny smaller than the larger one I was cutting before from the peach color background paper I create myself. So once I have all the letters cut, I'm gonna be doing a couple extra bits of stamping, so I'll be working on my flower composition for the card. And here you can see I am trying to select the flowers and dies from this Victoria and Albert Papercraft Collection issue number 1. I haven't seen, I'm not sure whether it's any follow-up with a number 2. I have not seen it, but I'll have to check it. However, this Inspire to Create is a series which comes ever so often, and they do have the most incredible crafters and designers to create the kits for them. They did had a few from me, Hunky Dory, Card Making Magic. Currently there is one number 2. This is a second kit from the Indigo Blue as well. So I really love them. They're absolutely jam-packed with goodies, and I will have to buy the Indigo Blue for myself. I recently seen it. There was a live presentation on the Craft Stash Facebook page, and there was a Lou Collins having the few ideas, and one of them, she created this rainbow color effect, like a watercoloring, and then a black and white stamping image glue on top of that. I absolutely fell in love with that, and that really inspired me, and I'm just like, oh, I think I'm quite fancy to create something like that myself. I just need to find the proper way to give it my twist, to create something myself from her idea. But I will definitely explore the idea a little bit more closer. I am using the gold embossing powder, and I'm stamping those flowers, and I will cut them down using the matching dies, and then I will create myself another panel for the leaves. The only one regret I have that they don't have the set of the dies included in this kit. It doesn't have the die for the matching die for the leaves. The two dies you have over here, they're absolutely fantastic, and they create a lovely leaves, and on top of that they also have those little like inside cutting, which will give you this leaf pattern on the inside. It's embossing as well, so it's cutting and give you this and this additional emboss from the die cut, from the die, and I love it. But I really would love to have the matching leaf die for this stamp set. So please if you're ever gonna be making a kit number 2 or similar stamps, I would love to have a matching die for those leaves, because I'm fall in love with them. So maybe someone of the editor of the magazine will watch my video. I certainly doubt it, but if you do, please, I love your magazines, and I'll be buying it definitely. Anyway, back to my card. I am doing a quick embossing, and then just using my heating tool, and I will be cutting those flowers. I really love how this background paper, because you can see it's got because we use that squish technique, like a foil squishing technique on the wet paper, it gives me this lovely watercolor look background, and I really love it. And I think I need to make few more of that with a different color combinations. I would love to have, to be honest, I only have 4 colors of the distress oxide inks. I would love to have a more. Keep waiting for the one to be I hope I'll get them anytime soon. I signed up myself for subscription with the creative stamping, and there was an offer to get some additional extra free distress oxide inks, so I hope they will come to me shortly, and if not, I'm so keen on ordering new one from the craft stash as well, so I'll definitely have a look. Maybe they're gonna have some offer as well anytime soon. I'm going to use my bigger die cutting machine, because this panel is a little bit wider, this card, so it's not gonna be fitting the smaller machine. However, having the bigger machine, it always that extra additional advantage that you can cut more on a one go, rather than on a smaller machine you could place less dies. I'm really in love with this flower design and this stamp set, and to be honest, I was using that and I was thinking, how on earth did I miss it? I've placed a box in between the other inspired to create kits, and I just like, I don't know, I forgot about this, and I was like, because I'm doing quite other bits, doing some design team, and I mainly work on a scrapbooking paper collection. I'm having it through to my design team, so I'm trying to create projects from their papers mainly. However, anytime spare time, I love to experiment, I love to do stamping and other bits. So I just thought like, I really want to play. And once I was rambling through my bigger sets, because I was thinking of using the other larger stamp, which was also from the creative stamping magazine, It was a lovely set from the Pink Fresh studio, and I love that one. And at first I thought I would be adding these stamps, but then I've just rubbed a few more stamps, and I was like, oh, what's that? And that was not even open, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I really need to do that. So as you can see here, I am creating a little bit of the green panel, and the shade I'm using is a cracked pistachio, and I really love it. At first I thought it will be too much teal. I rather think I thought I maybe wanted to have more like a apple green color ink. However, I didn't have it. As I said, I only have 4 of the distress oxides, so I was like, okay, I'll just use what I have, and here we go. But I'm quite happy. I'm really delighted because the soft green pistachio color leaves, they are looking lovely, and they really complement nicely with this peach color background I create for my card with the other 2 distress oxide inks. To give my leaves even more dimension and just frame them up, I'm using this Nouveau embellishment mousse, and I really love it because it gives me that extra shine as well, because this color, let me just check that one for you. I believe the color is called apple oh no, sorry, it's called aloe vera, and it's really lovely green color, and it gives that subtle shininess as well, and that's just frame the leaves nicely, so they just become even more like 3-dimensional with this dark color border all around them. And one more thing I wish to add, if it comes for working with the embellishment Nouveau Mousse, they are actually mess free. Well, they do stain your finger once you color with them, but however, you just use wet wipes and it automatically comes off from your nails, from your fingers, so from the surfaces you're working on. So that's really important. If you don't like to ink up your die cut elements because you're worried that it's gonna be the ink is, you know, staining your fingers or something, and you don't want to have your dirty hands all of the time, and you actually trying to avoid that, you know, you just cut the plain paper, like cut the green leaves from the green cardstock, and then you never color it with the inks because you don't like to have your fingers stained. So that's really great product. I highly recommend it. There is a wide selection of those embellishment moves also available at the craft stash. I have mine from them. I have 2 of them, but I definitely will be looking forward to order more because they're lovely. This is like texturing, embossing texture paste, and you could color it, you could stencil it. There's so many various techniques. I actually did a little video in the past as well using those products. Actually, I've got a few videos, so I definitely highly recommend that product for many purposes, because that will it's a little box, but this product is really lasting, you know, very long time. I've been doing a lot of stenciling use my spatula and put the product through. And it also gives you that lovely texture, like a texturing paste kind of. Once it's dry, it's really hardened up, and comparing to the texture paste, it's got this beautiful shininess. Well, the texture paste I've called it's a matte finish, so this one is really shiny, and it's great for coloring and other purposes as well. So that's something also you could have a look if you're looking for something to color your leaves. I'm using a double-sided foam tape just to raise up my front panel and just to give it a little extra dimension. And look how clean and gorgeous this frame looks like. I love it just like that. I could leave it. But I'm really happy with the background color, this pinkish and yellow color. The Stress Oxide inks, they give me that peachy, a very warm vibe color background paper. And that was actually one cardstock, one A4 size card I colored 3 of them, but 2 of them I still have it. I was explaining you that in the beginning of the video. But one card, it really goes a long way, as you see how many different elements I was able to cut from one piece of cardstock, and that basically create all my entire card. And I also have some extra bits as well. If I'll further down, I've decided to do a matching box or insert of the card. I still got 2 matching panels left, so that's great. So whenever you create the background, always grab additional at least one piece of a card, because you're never gonna regret that, because that way you have something. If you need a quick card, you've got already background, you add 2 flowers or a butterfly and some stamping, and you're ready to go in case you like forgot your friend's birthday or something, you need last minute card. Or if you will decide to do additional embellishment for the card, or like I don't know, sometimes I'm creating a project for someone, and then they once I have my project nearly ready, and they just go over, say like, oh hey, could you do a money insert to the card or something? And yeah, of course, but you need to have all the elements matching, and so that's why I always like to make an extra piece. So I'm trying to position all these little elements, and I'm quite happy how those circle letters looks like. This stamp from Christina Griffiths is perfect size, and it's nice bold printing, so I really love it. I'm just on a hand trying to find, because it's no longer available. I missed the opportunity. She has some die, same alphabet die as well, but I've missed it when they were on a sale. They're no longer available, so I'm just hoping. I'm searching internet with the hope that someone will maybe just sell their used set or something like that, because I really want to have it. Anyway, I love this gold and peach color combination, and this crafter companion embossing folder. You will see on a close-up for how rich and textured this embossing is. And here you will see I will struggle for a minute, maybe not struggle, but I will trying to think of a proper like flower arrangement, like maybe this on that. I'll be changing it a few times. However, eventually I will decide to only use 3 flowers, because you know what, sometimes the less is better. It's not about that, oh, we stamp and cut 10 flowers, so we all have to stick all the 10 flowers on the card. I rather have more and don't use them all than don't have enough. It's just my thing. And then I'm just adding a little extra accent on the corner as well, just to frame the card nicely. But as I'm saying, just because I've created all those flowers, it doesn't mean I have to use them all. But it's always good to have few extra bits just in case we decide. However, in this case, I just thought that the 3 big nice flower, that will be just enough. So that will be basically my card for today. All I just want to say to you guys is, my friends, thank you so much for being here, for watching my tutorial. I know this one was kind of long, but if you survive all my chatting and all this, me creating the card, then thank you so much with all my heart for being here, for your support. I love reading your comments. I still got a bunch of comments to reply, and I'm truly sorry for not being as fast with all the responses and everything. But as I'm saying, right now we're living just me, my husband and my baby. I've not got any family here around, so anyone could come and just watch my boy for a few minutes. So I'm just trying to fit my crafting activities whenever he's sleeping or with his dad, but his dad is working a full time as well, and I'm working and I'm having my crafting little card making business as well. So it's just all at once, but YouTube has become a big part of my life, same as a craft word. I'm trying to pop there every day and see inspiration, because there's so many different things, there's so many experts and lovely community and so many friends. Everyone are so helpful and friendly, and it's absolutely amazing place. Plus, on top of everything, if you never heard about it, there's tons of different challenges and giveaways, which also gives you opportunity to try new things and to win some crafty goodies. So I will leave you a link down below to my account, to my craft world, and if you just sign up there, don't forget to friend me as well. My nick is Drop of Sunshine. So thank you so much, have a lovely day, stay blessed, bye bye.